The cream-colored envelope sat on my desk like a ticking bomb. You are cordially invited to celebrate the promotion of Emily Shepard. I crumpled it before reading further, my hands shaking with a rage I thought I'd buried months ago. My name is Zara, and 5 years ago I met the woman who would become both my best friend and my worst nightmare. Back then, she was just Emily, my new college roommate, standing in our shared dorm room with a bright smile and a box of fairy lights. I thought we could hang these, she'd said, untangling the copper wire. Make it feel more like home? That's how it started. 2 design students, both dreaming big, staying up until 3 a.m. sketching concepts and sharing secrets. I can still picture us sprawled on the floor, surrounded by empty coffee cups and scattered drawings. This is brilliant, Z, Emily had gasped one night, holding up my sketch for a revolutionary UI design. How do you even think of these things? I remember blushing, proud but humble. Just comes to me sometimes, like I can see how everything should flow, you know? We became inseparable. Dorm room sisters, she'd called us. When I landed my dream internship at Tech Vision, Emily celebrated harder than anyone, organizing a surprise party in our tiny room. To Zara, she'd toasted, raising her plastic cup of cheap wine. Future design goddess of Silicon Valley. I trusted her completely. That's why, 3 months ago, when I finished my prototype for the new interface system, she was the first person I showed. This is going to change everything, I told her, demonstrating the gesture controls I'd spent months perfecting. The whole way people interact with technology. Emily had watched intently, asking questions, taking notes. Now I realized she wasn't taking notes at all. She was stealing my future, piece by piece. A knock at my door jolts me back to the present. It's Piper from the old design team. You got one too? She asks, holding up an identical envelope. I nod, throat tight. Quite the achievement, isn't it? Getting promoted after only 3 months in the company. Piper shifts uncomfortably. Zara, I've been wanting to tell you something about the day you supposedly resigned. My heart pounds. What about it? I saw Emily in the server room that morning. She was with Ronald from HR going through some files. I thought it was weird, but... She trails off, looking guilty. But you didn't say anything, I finish for her. I'm sorry, I should have... My phone buzzes, cutting her off. Unknown number. The message contains a single link and the words, Thought you might want to see this. Your old login still works, by the way. S. I click the link. It's a timestamp log of access to my old project files. Dozens of entries, all after my resignation, all from Emily's workstation. Oh my God, Piper whispers, reading over my shoulder. She's still using your work. I feel something shift inside me, like a switch being flipped. The hurt and betrayal crystallize into something harder, colder, more dangerous. You know what's funny? I say, smoothing out the crumpled invitation. Emily always said I was too nice, too trusting. I grab a pen and check the will attend box with sharp, angry strokes. Time to prove her wrong. Piper stares at me. What are you going to do? I think about all those nights we spent dreaming together, all the secrets I shared, all the trust I gave so freely. I think about how Emily took everything, my work, my reputation, my future, with a smile on her face. I'm going to her party, I say, sealing the RSVP envelope, and I'm bringing a gift she'll never forget. The invitation sits on my desk, now marked with my response. Emily thinks she's won, that I've disappeared into the shadows of shame and defeat. But she forgot one thing about me. I don't just design systems, I break them. 3 months earlier, I'd walked into TechVision's glass-walled conference room, expecting my weekly progress review. Instead, I found Ronald from HR, 2 senior executives, and a stack of papers that would destroy my life. Please, sit down, Zara, Ronald said, his face carefully blank. The air felt wrong, heavy. Where was my team lead? Where was Emily? We've received your resignation, Ronald continued, sliding documents across the table. While we're disappointed, we want to ensure a smooth transition. My what? I grabbed the papers. There was my signature, perfect down to the little swoosh I always add to the Z'd, except I hadn't signed anything. This is a mistake, I said. I never... The door opened, Emily walked in, eyes red and puffy. I tried to talk her out of it, she said to Ronald, but she insisted it was time to move on. I stared at her, mouth open. What are you talking about? It's okay, Z. Emily's voice was gentle, concerned, the same voice she'd used when comforting me after bad breakups. You don't have to pretend anymore. Pretend? Emily, what the hell is going on? Ronald cleared his throat. Ms. Shepard informed us you've been planning to leave for weeks. She says you gave her full rights to continue development on the interface project. That's a lie! I stood up so fast my chair crashed backward. That's my project, my design. Emily's been helping with testing, but I have the transfer documents, Emily interrupted, pulling out more papers. You signed everything over last Friday. My head spun. Friday. I'd been homesick with food poisoning. Emily had brought me soup, stayed to take care of me. No, I whispered. No, no, no. Security will escort you to clear out your desk, Ronald said. Standard procedure. You can't do this, I turned to Emily, desperate. Tell them the truth. Please. She wouldn't meet my eyes. I'm sorry you're making this so difficult. 2 security guards appeared at the door. As they led me out, I saw Jackson, the rising star executive, pat Emily's shoulder. Good work holding it together, he said. The team's lucky to have you. My coworkers watched in silence as I was marched to my desk. Some looked away, others whispered behind their hands. I caught fragments. Mental break. Always seemed unstable. Lucky Emily caught the signs. Piper approached as I was boxing up my photos. Zara, what's happening? Ask Emily, I spat. She seems to have all the answers. 20 minutes later, I stood on the sidewalk clutching my sad cardboard box, watching my dreams crumble through tinted windows. My phone buzzed. All access to company servers revoked. My keycard deactivated. My existence erased. That night, I sat in my empty apartment. Emily had moved out the week before, citing needing space, trying to piece together what happened. My laptop pinged with an email from an address I didn't recognize. burning.bridgeaprotonmail.com. Check your sent folder from last Friday. Notice anything strange about the timestamps? I opened my work email through my phone's backup. There they were. Resignation letters, transfer documents, all supposedly sent by me. All while I was barely conscious with food poisoning. Another email arrived. Your system was accessed remotely at 2:47 a.m. Want to know from where? I replied immediately, Who are you? Someone who doesn't like watching talented people get screwed over. Call me Sawyer. I work in IT. Can you prove what she did? Maybe. But here's the real question. What are you willing to do with that proof? I thought about Emily's tearful performance in the conference room, the perfect signatures, the carefully crafted story. This wasn't a spontaneous betrayal. She'd planned it for weeks, maybe months. My phone buzzed one more time. Fair warning, once you start down this road, there's no going back. You in? I looked at my box of belongings, at the years of work stolen with a few forged signatures, at the life I'd built, now shattered by someone I'd trusted like a sister. My fingers flew across the keyboard. I'm in. Tell me everything. Sometimes betrayal doesn't come with a warning. Sometimes it walks in with soup when you're sick, wearing the face of your best friend. Try it again, Sawyer's voice crackled through my earbuds. This time, check the metadata tags. I'd spent the last 6 weeks rebuilding my life from scratch. During days, I worked remote design gigs under a pseudonym. At night, I learned coding from Sawyer, my mysterious IT ally who only communicated through encrypted channels. Got it, I muttered, fingers flying across the keyboard. The files Emily submitted as her original work. They're all copies of my archived designs. She didn't even bother changing the creation dates. Rookie mistake, Sawyer chuckled. But that's not enough to nail her. We need... A knock at my door made me jump. Through the peephole, I saw Piper shifting nervously in the hallway. I have to go, I whispered to Sawyer. Someone's here. Be careful who you trust. I opened the door. Piper burst in, face flushed. You're not going to believe this. Emily's presenting your branding sequence at the promotion party, the one you designed for the Singapore launch. My stomach dropped. That sequence had been my passion project, a revolutionary way to introduce new tech to international markets. She's really going to stand there and take credit for it? Jackson's already calling it groundbreaking. Piper paced my living room. I couldn't stay quiet anymore. I've been documenting everything strange I've noticed since you left. She pulled out her phone, showing me photos of Emily leaving the office late, carrying hard drives, screenshots of suspicious email threads. Something bigger is going on, Zara. Emily's not working alone. My laptop pinged. Sawyer sending new data. I opened it, then froze. Piper, look at this. Emily's been accessing my old storage files every week since I quit. But these IP addresses, they're not all from her computer. What does that mean? It means she has help. I pulled up another window. Someone's been feeding her information for months, before I was even forced out. Piper leaned closer. Wait, that email address. I've seen Ronald from HR use that one for unofficial communications. The pieces started clicking. Ronald's strange behavior during my dismissal. His immediate acceptance of Emily's story. He's her inside man. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Meet me at Cyber Cafe, 20 minutes. Come alone. S. I'd never met Sawyer in person. Piper, I have to go. But first, why are you really helping me? She looked away. Because I was a coward. I saw things, heard things, but said nothing. Emily, she has dirt on everyone, keeps files, makes subtle threats. The whole office is terrified of crossing her. And now? Now I'm done being scared. She handed me a USB drive. Everything I've collected is yours. Just be careful, okay? Emily's not above destroying people who get in her way. 20 minutes later, I sat in the back booth of a dimly lit cafe. A tall figure in a hoodie slid in across from me. Sawyer? He pushed back his hood slightly. Mid-20s, sharp eyes, guarded expression. We have a problem. Emily's not just stealing your work, she's selling pieces of it to competitors. Small parts, nothing obvious. But I traced the payments. Can we prove it? Maybe. But there's something else. He slid a photo across the table. My breath caught. It showed Ronald with a woman I hadn't seen in years. My mother. How did you get this? Doesn't matter. What matters is Ronald's connection to your family isn't coincidental. This goes deeper than office politics, Zara. My hands shook. My mother disappeared from my life 10 years ago. What does she have to do with this? That's what we need to find out. Sawyer's eyes met mine. But understand something. Once we pull this thread, everything unravels. Your revenge might expose things you're not ready to face. I thought about Emily presenting my work as her own, about Ronald's secret connections, about my mother's unexplained absence. I'm ready, I said. Show me what to do next. Sawyer nodded, pulling out a laptop. First, we need to talk about the promotion party, because I have an idea that will make your grand entrance unforgettable. I leaned forward, a cold smile forming. Emily thought she'd stolen my future. She was about to learn that some things can't be copied, only earned, like karma. Your mother's signature is all over these documents, Sawyer said, spreading printouts across my kitchen table. She worked at TechVision's parent company 15 years ago, same department Ronald runs now. I stared at my mother's familiar handwriting, Kaya, the woman who'd walked out of my life without explanation when I was 15. What happened to her there? She was accused of corporate espionage. Ronald led the investigation that got her blacklisted from the industry. Sawyer's eyes narrowed. But the evidence was suspiciously perfect, just like what happened to you. My phone rang. Unknown number. I answered on speaker. Hello, Zara. My mother's voice, still smooth as honey after all these years. I heard you've been asking questions about Ronald. My heart hammered. How did you... People talk, especially when they're scared. A pause. We need to meet. 10 years of silence, and now you want to talk? Because now you're ready to understand. She named a coffee shop. 1 hour. Come alone. Sawyer shook his head as I hung up. It's a trap. Maybe, but I need answers. The coffee shop was quiet, tucked away in a forgotten corner of the city. Kaya sat in a corner booth, looking exactly as I remembered. Elegant, composed, dangerous. You look like me at your age, she said as I sat down. Why did Ronald help Emily destroy my career? Kaya smiled sadly. Straight to business, just like me. She pulled out a tablet. Watch this. Security footage played, showing a younger Ronald in an office, shredding documents. He destroyed evidence that would have cleared me, Kaya said, just like he helped Emily forge documents to frame you. But why? What's the connection? Ronald built his career on destroying others. He finds ambitious young women, sets them up to take falls. Emily's not his mastermind. She's his puppet. My coffee turned bitter in my mouth. You knew this would happen to me? I tried to warn you when you took the job. You wouldn't answer my calls. Pain flashed across her face. I've spent 10 years gathering evidence against Ronald, but he's careful, protected. Until now, I said, showing her Sawyer's files. We have proof he accessed my systems illegally. Proof Emily's been selling stolen designs. It won't be enough. Kaya leaned forward. Ronald has the board wrapped around his finger. You'll need something bigger. My phone buzzed, a message from Piper. Emergency. Emily's moving up the timeline. Parties next week. I have to go. I stood up. Zara. Kaya grabbed my arm. Be smarter than I was. Don't let revenge blind you to the bigger picture. What bigger picture? Emily's not just stealing your work. She's building something with the pieces, something that could hurt a lot of people. She handed me a flash drive. Everything I have on Ronald is yours. Just be careful who you trust. Even your IT friend. Back at my apartment, Sawyer was agitated. Emily's accelerating her plan. She's scheduled meetings with 3 major tech companies right after the party. She's going to sell them my designs, I realized. All of them. Not if we move first. He pulled up a complex diagram. I've mapped their entire network. One back door, that's all we need. I studied his plans. Something nagging at me. How did you get this level of access? Sawyer wouldn't meet my eyes. I have my methods. My mother's warning echoed, be careful who you trust. I noticed a familiar coding style in his work. One I'd seen before in Emily's stolen files. You helped her, didn't you? My voice was ice. You helped Emily hack my accounts. Zara, were you working with Ronald too? It's complicated. He reached for me. Let me explain. I backed away, grabbing my laptop. Get out. You need me, he said quietly. You can't pull this off alone. I thought of Emily's betrayal, of Ronald's manipulation, of my mother's warnings. Watch me. After he left, I opened my mother's flash drive. A video played, security footage from 10 years ago. Ronald, Emily's father, and a teenage Emily, planning something in hushed voices. This wasn't just about stolen designs anymore. This was about a decade of calculated destruction. And I was done being a victim. Are you absolutely sure about this? Piper asked, watching me assemble the final pieces of my digital trap. Once we start, there's no going back. 3 days until Emily's party. My apartment had become a war room, walls covered in printouts, timelines, and network maps. After Sawyer's betrayal, I'd worked around the clock, fueled by coffee and rage. Play it again, I said, gesturing to my laptop. Piper clicked play. The screen showed Emily at a recent product launch, surrounded by admirers. It just comes to me naturally, she laughed, demonstrating my interface design. Like I can see how everything should flow, you know? My own words, stolen along with everything else. But she hadn't stopped there. Look at this, I pulled up financial records. Every time Emily presents her work, Ronald makes a series of encrypted transfers. They're selling pieces of my designs to multiple companies, creating bidding wars. But why? They're already successful. Because it's not about money. I showed her the video from my mother's drive. It's about power. Ronald finds talented women, uses someone close to destroy them, then profits from the chaos. He did it to my mother, now to me. My phone buzzed, a text from Kaya. Ronald's getting suspicious. Be ready. As if on cue, my laptop pinged with an alert. Someone was trying to breach my new security system. Sawyer? Piper asked. No, this is Emily. I watched the attack unfold. She's looking for anything I might use against her at the party. Can she get in? I smiled coldly. No, but she'll think she did. I'd spent weeks creating a perfect digital trap. When Emily broke through the outer layer, she'd find exactly what she was looking for. Fake evidence, planted conversations, false leads, all designed to make her feel safe until the moment I struck. There's something else, Piper said quietly. She pulled out her phone, showed me a video clip. Emily in the office kitchen, laughing with coworkers. I almost feel bad for Zara, Emily was saying. So desperate for validation, she actually believed we were friends. Like anyone could respect someone that pathetic. The words hit like physical blows. All those late nights, shared dreams, supposed friendship. Nothing but calculated manipulation. I'm sorry, Piper whispered. I thought you should see who she really is. My hands shook as I typed the final commands into my program. Upload complete. Everything's in place. What exactly will happen at the party? First, the screens will show every file Emily stole, with timestamps proving they're my work. Then comes the money trail, Ronald's payments, the secret sales. Finally, the security footage showing how they forced me out. And if they try to stop it, they can't. I've locked the system with encryption even Sawyer can't crack. I closed my laptop. But there's one more thing I need to do. An hour later, I stood outside a familiar building. My mother waited in the shadows. You shouldn't be here, she said. I need to know. Why didn't you fight back? When Ronald destroyed your career? She looked away. Because he threatened you. Said he'd make sure you never worked in tech if I exposed him. So you just disappeared? I thought I was protecting you. Her voice cracked. I was wrong. I should have stayed and fought. Help me fight now, I said. Come to the party. Let them see what they did to both of us. She hesitated. It's dangerous. So is letting them win again. My phone lit up with another alert. Emily had taken the bait, downloaded the fake files. She thought she'd won again. Okay, Kaya said finally, but promise me something. When the moment comes, when you have them cornered, remember that revenge isn't just about destruction. It's about justice. I thought about Emily's mocking laughter, Ronald's calculated cruelty, Sawyer's betrayal. Sometimes destruction is justice. Back home, I opened my closet. Inside hung a dress I'd bought specially for the party, sleek, black, dangerous. Perfect for a funeral or a revenge party. 3 days. Soon Emily would learn what it felt like to have everything stripped away. Soon Ronald would understand that karma doesn't forget. And I would finally reclaim my voice, my work, my truth. Let them laugh now. The real show was about to begin. The party was in full swing when I slipped in through a side entrance, my dark wig and makeup rendering me unrecognizable. Crystal glasses clinked, fake laughter echoed, and Emily held court in the center of it all, resplendent in a white designer dress. You sure about this? Piper whispered through my earpiece. She was stationed near the main control panel, ready to prevent any last-minute interference. Just stick to the plan, I murmured, positioning myself near the bar. From here, I could see everything, including Ronald hovering protectively near Emily, checking his phone every few minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, Jackson's voice boomed through the speakers. Tonight, we celebrate not just a promotion, but a visionary who's revolutionized our approach to design. Emily stepped onto the small stage, beaming. Thank you all so much. This journey has been incredible. My fingers tightened around my glass as she launched into her speech, weaving my stolen dreams into her false narrative. Behind her, the massive screens displayed my interface designs, my work, my vision, with her name attached. 5 minutes, I whispered to Piper. Start the upload. Wait, she hissed. Sawyer just walked in. My heart stopped. He was moving through the crowd, heading straight for Ronald. They exchanged words, and Ronald's face went pale. He's warning them, I said. Do it now. The first screen flickered, then the second. Emily faltered mid-sentence as her presentation dissolved, replaced by time-stamped project files showing my original work. There seems to be a technical... She started, but her voice died as emails appeared, correspondence between her and Ronald, planning my removal months in advance. "Security!" Ronald shouted. "Shut it down!" "They can't." Piper's voice was triumphant in my ear. "We're locked out of the system." The crowd murmured as financial records scrolled past, showing the pattern of secret sales and payments. Emily's composure cracked. She grabbed Ronald's arm, whispering frantically. "That's not all," I said, loud enough for nearby guests to hear. "Watch this." The screens filled with security footage. Emily accessing my computer while I was sick, Ronald shredding evidence, the carefully orchestrated theft of my career playing out in high definition. "This is ridiculous," Emily's voice shook. "These are obviously fake." "Like the resignation papers you forged?" I stepped forward, pulling off my wig. The crowd gasped. "Or the designs you've been selling piece by piece to our competitors." "Zara," Emily's face went white. "You don't understand?" "I understand perfectly." I walked toward the stage. "You and Ronald have been running this scam for years. Find talented women, destroy them, profit from their work. You did it to my mother. Then you did it to me." "Your mother?" Jackson stepped forward. "What are you talking about?" "Why don't you ask me yourself?" Kaya emerged from the crowd, elegant and fierce. "Hello, Ronald. It's been a while." Ronald lunged for his phone, but Sawyer appeared, grabbing his wrist. "Looking for this?" He held up a flash drive. "I kept copies of everything. Insurance, you might say. When Zara figured out my part in this, I knew I had to make it right." Emily broke, pointing at Ronald. "He made me do it. He said if I didn't help frame Zara, he'd reveal things about my father." "Stop talking," Ronald snapped. But it was too late. Jackson signaled security. "Get them out of here, and someone call legal. We'll need statements." As guards led Emily and Ronald away, I felt strangely empty. This was my moment of triumph, but all I could see was the betrayal in Emily's eyes, the same look I'd worn 3 months ago. "You did it," Piper appeared beside me. "It's over." But Sawyer's face was grim. "Not quite. Emily wasn't lying about her father. There's more to this story. A lot more." "What do you mean?" "The designs they stole, they weren't just selling them. They were building something. Something big." I watched Emily's white dress disappear through the exit, remembered her words from so long ago. It just comes to me naturally. Nothing about Emily was natural, and somehow I knew this victory was just the beginning. "Tell me everything," I said to Sawyer. "No more secrets." Behind us, the screens continued their damning display, while whispers spread through the stunned crowd like wildfire. My revenge was complete, but the real war was just beginning. "They're building an AI system," Sawyer explained in the empty conference room, an hour after Emily and Ronald's removal. "Using pieces of stolen designs from dozens of victims over the years. Your interface was the final piece." Jackson paced by the windows, his reflection ghostly against the night sky. "How long has this been happening?" "At least 15 years, my mother said. She spread out old documents across the table. "Ronald didn't just destroy careers. He harvested intellectual property. Emily's father was his original partner." "Was?" I caught the past tense. "He died in a suspicious car accident 10 years ago," Sawyer pulled up a news article. "Right after he threatened to expose Ronald." A commotion outside interrupted us. Through the glass walls, we watched Emily being escorted back in by security, mascara streaking her face. "Let me talk," she begged. "Please, I'll tell you everything." Jackson nodded to the guards. Emily collapsed into a chair, her white dress now wrinkled and stained. "Daddy didn't die in an accident," she said, voice hollow. "Ronald killed him. Then told me if I didn't help continue their work, he'd reveal evidence framing me for the death." "Why my designs?" I demanded. "Why me, specifically?" "Because of your mother." Emily's laugh was bitter. "Ronald's been obsessed with her work for years. When he saw you had her talent..." She shuddered. "I didn't want to hurt you, Zara, but he owned me." Piper burst in, laptop in hand. You need to see this. The AI system. It's active. They've been testing it on private servers. Sawyer took the computer, his face darkening. This isn't just design theft. They're building something that could automate creative development completely, put thousands of designers out of work, while making billions selling it to the highest bidder, Jackson added. It gets worse, my mother said. Look at the target companies. She pointed to familiar names. Defense contractors, government agencies. This isn't just about profit, it's about control. Emily started crying. He's going to kill me like he killed Daddy. I know too much. No one's killing anyone. Jackson pulled out his phone. I'm calling the FBI. Wait, I said, something clicking. Emily, where's the master server? The one holding all the stolen designs? Hidden facility outside the city. Ronald's heading there now. She wrote an address. He'll destroy everything. Not if we get there first. Sawyer grabbed his jacket. But we need to move fast. I'm coming. I stood up. Zara! My mother grabbed my arm. This isn't about revenge anymore. This is dangerous. That's why I have to go. I looked at Emily, broken and terrified in her ruined white dress. I wanted revenge, but this is about justice now. Jackson made calls while we drove. FBI, cybercrimes unit, corporate security. Sawyer worked his laptop, trying to slow Ronald's access to the server. We reached the facility, an innocent-looking storage building, just as Ronald's car pulled away. Inside, computers hummed ominously. He's initiated a deletion sequence. Sawyer ran to a terminal. Everything will be gone in minutes. Can you stop it? Not alone. He looked at me. But together, we worked frantically, 4 hands flying over keyboards, while Piper relayed instructions from the cybersecurity team over the phone. Lines of code blurred before my eyes. Got it! Sawyer shouted as the deletion stopped. Servers locked down! Sirens wailed in the distance. Through the window, I saw Ronald's car surrounded by police lights. It's over, Piper said softly, but looking at the servers holding thousands of stolen dreams, I wasn't so sure. What happens now? Now, Jackson said, we make this right. Return the stolen work to its creators, build something better. My mother touched my shoulder. And we heal. I thought about Emily, probably talking to FBI agents right now, about Ronald in handcuffs, about all the lives they'd destroyed in their quest for power. You know what's ironic? I said to no one in particular. All this time, they were stealing creativity, trying to automate innovation, but they forgot the most important thing. What's that? Sawyer asked. Real innovation comes from freedom, from trust, from letting people create without fear. I watched the FBI cyber team enter, beginning their investigation. They never had a chance of succeeding because they built everything on destruction. Outside, the sun was rising. A new day, a new beginning. But as I watched federal agents box up evidence of decades of theft and manipulation, I realized revenge wasn't what I'd really wanted. I'd wanted the truth. Now I had to figure out what to do with it. The courtroom fell silent as the judge delivered the verdict. Ronald, guilty on all counts. Behind me, Emily sobbed quietly, having testified against him in exchange for a lighter sentence. You did good, kid, Jackson whispered as we left the courthouse. The morning sun felt different now, cleaner somehow. The board wants to talk to you. I shook my head. I'm not coming back to Tech Vision. I know. That's not what this is about. In the boardroom an hour later, I faced the executives who'd once watched me be escorted out in shame. Now they listened intently as I laid out my proposal. A foundation, I explained, to protect and support innovative designers. Legal aid, secure servers, mentorship programs, funded by the recovery of Ronald's stolen assets. And you want to run it? The CEO asked. No, my mother will. I gestured to Kaya, who stood straight and proud. She knows better than anyone how to spot the warning signs, how to prevent what happened to us from happening to others. What about you? I smiled. I'm starting my own company, with some people I trust. Piper and Sawyer waited outside. We'd spent weeks planning this, a new design firm built on transparency and collaboration. No more stolen dreams. There's one more thing, Jackson said as we left. Emily wants to see you. I found her in the prison's visiting room, orange jumpsuit replacing designer clothes. Her eyes were clear now, no more tears. I don't expect forgiveness, she said. But I need you to understand something. The night we met in college, that wasn't fake. The friendship, the dreams we shared, that was real. Ronald corrupted it, but it was real. Why tell me this now? Because carrying hate is exhausting. I should know. She pressed her hand against the glass. I'm sorry, Z, for everything. I didn't touch the glass, but I nodded. I know. Outside, Piper waited with coffee. You okay? Actually, yes. I took a sip. Ready to build something new. My phone buzzed, a message from Sawyer. Office space secured. You need to see this. The building was perfect, open, full of light, with walls of windows overlooking the city. Sawyer had already set up state-of-the-art security systems. No one's stealing from us, he said firmly. Or anyone else, I added, showing him the Foundation's first initiative, a secure platform for designers to protect their work. My mother arrived with the final paperwork. Everything's ready. The Foundation launches next week. Nervous? Terrified. She smiled. But that's how you know it matters. We worked late into the evening, setting up our new space. Piper arranged design stations while Sawyer installed security protocols. Through the windows, I watched the city lights flicker on. Hey, Sawyer called. Come see this. On his screen was a message from an unknown designer, someone else Ronald had targeted years ago. Then another message appeared. And another. They're all coming forward, Piper whispered, sharing their stories. Sharing their strength, my mother corrected. I touched the screen, feeling the weight of all those voices finally being heard. Then let's give them something better to build on. The next morning, I stood in our new office watching my team arrive, not just employees, partners, each bringing their own dreams, their own vision. Ready? Piper asked, holding up her tablet for our first team meeting. I looked around, at Sawyer with his unshakable security systems, at my mother preparing to protect future innovators, at the empty walls waiting to be filled with new designs. You know what Emily never understood? I said. Real power isn't about what you can take, it's about what you choose to give back. I stepped to the front of the room, facing my team, my chosen family. Let's create something extraordinary, together. Because that's the thing about revenge, it shows you what you're capable of. But healing? That shows you who you really are. And I was finally ready to be myself again. Not a victim, not an avenger, just a creator, surrounded by people I trust, building something better than revenge, something real.